Hey yo, how's it going, boys? What is up? Source back once again for yet once a year video. Your Anytics of 2021. Yes, this is a 7th anniversary ticket that everyone has been waiting for. So this is gonna be yet once again another long ass video, very likely, because so many new characters, so many new shit to talk about. All that stuff on each individual whatever stuff. But first, I'm gonna say that there's a very big disclaimer that I don't think any one of you should actually bother picking a Grand character, because once again, I've always been saying this, because Grand characters are always there every single month. So if you really want to really get those characters, you should just go save up for a spark and just go get them. And not to mention, we're getting a lot like roulettes and stuff and free rolls anyway to actually try to get them. So yeah, do that. If you really want to get like use this sticker for something, you should just use them for any of the seasonal characters, which is I'm about to talk about. And let alone, you should just ignore all of the normal subtickable characters, because that shit comes by every now and then. I don't think you want to waste your once a year special ticket on a non-limited character. So please don't do that unless you just want to flex. By all means, go right ahead, because none of us give a fuck about that. Yeah. So yes, just in short, just pick any of the, if you really want the TLDR, just pick any of the seasonal characters. Like be it the summer version, Halloween, Christmas, whatever, pick any of those shit. Any of that one, any of them. Doesn't fucking matter. Because all the stuff that I'm probably going to say is just based on my suggestion on the current scenario right now that we have, or whatever content that we have currently. So that's what I'm going to talk about for each and individual like seasonal characters and such that is out in this ticket. If you don't really care about what you want, what I say, yeah, you can just ignore this video. If you are still watching anyway, that's great. Just watch till the end. Give me more watch time, because that's great. But yeah, end of the day, just pick whatever you want. Doesn't fucking matter. You want to pick a booba, a lolly, just pick them. Don't care. Pretty sure a lot of people doesn't fucking care anyway. You pick you. It's your goddamn money. It's not mine. I'm just helping. Okay? Alright, one more thing before I go into it, right? There are actually limited summons that you can so-called Anytics. Like, you know, like Sarah, Christmas, Kaguya, Freyr, Summer, like all these summer versions or whatever. I don't think you should bother getting any of them, because they're really not gonna help much. Some of them are okay, but I don't think they're really gonna help much, because end of the day, you kind of want to max them out anyway. So, yeah. For the most part, just ignore them. We're just here to talk about the characters, okay? Okay, let's go. So we're gonna start with Fire. So first and foremost, Percival, ignore him. Beatrix got a massive change. Probably you probably see the video of me testing Beatrix here and there earlier. So all I can say is that she turned out to be a lot better after the rework. Probably one of the better ones in the current rework, like among all the other characters that got reworked. So she's definitely usable now, but for the most part, I feel like I don't really want to suggest getting her for the most part. You know, because like, especially if you are, you know, lacking of like trumpet emojis and shit, that one is probably still a much better character to pick anyway, which we'll get to very shortly. But yeah, for the most part, like if you really have like those other characters and you do not have like Anira or whatever, you can kind of pseudo use Beatrix for your fourth character for like the bursting Alanan setup and shit. She is definitely much more usable for that regard. She's actually pretty damn nice now after that thing. So yeah. Azazel also has, I mean, Halloween Azazel is kind of like, I would say, a very similar was that case when it comes to Anytics, because I feel like for a character like Halloween Azazel, he's more towards like the whole burst setup kind of thing, where I think I've seen quite a bit of people using Azazel for Ultimate Baja trains, like the normal ones. I've seen quite a few people use that. So I've seen quite a few people also use the just for the sake of bursting, you could also just use him for that. Because I feel like outside of that, when it comes to like just normal standard generic stuff, you know, like full auto or like you semi-manual that shit, you know, that kind of stuff, those stuff I feel like Azazel can be just kind of ignored for the most part. So if you really want a character that can burst, I think Azazel is okay. Beatrix is okay. Io, you can ignore her. Dano, I can ignore. Tina, you can ignore. Nemone is okay. She's actually pretty good. I've been using her for quite a bit since she was released because I also kind of luck shit on her a little bit at that time. So Christmas Nemone is good because she has the potential of providing a lot of sustain to your party. She has very, very good options for full auto. I wouldn't really say she's that great for burst or OTK. She's just more like a full auto, semi-manual kind of character. She provides quite a bit of options to you in terms of that because she has like the auto nuke thingy, which allows you to get like free shield, free heals, clear. It's a bit randomized and shit like that, but it's still pretty damn good because, you know, you can essentially get that like every single turn. And then when she Ogis, when you have like maximum stacks and all that shit, her buff is actually pretty damn good too because like she gets like the she provides you like the what's that, the defense, because last I recall the defense was relatively high, and then you get multi-attack and actually some attack as well, which is pretty nice. So she's a very, very useful like utility type of character, but at the same time like she can at least help do a little bit of damage as well along with all those stuff I said earlier, because like I think her nukes can easily reach like 2 million very, very with like very minimal effort, I guess, when it comes to like what you need to do in a fight or whatever, because technically you just really need to, I feel like for the most part, if you want to use her, right, you should at least try to get like or use the MC that has at least some sort of extra sustain for either MC himself or herself, whichever gender you're using, or maybe some other character that provides extra sustain. Because you have to remember, if you actually use Nemone and then you want to really get her buff super easily, you want to get that sub thingy, which means MC will always sub all of her damage. So basically she will just never get hit at all. For the most part, yeah. That's kind of how I feel about the Christmas Nemone. Like, in that regard, she's actually really, really nice and like full auto and all that shit. Decent damage, nice utility, and all that shit. Yeah, she's great. So if you need a character like that, by all means, be my guest. Valentine's Scat is also, I would say, another character very, very similar to like Christmas Nemone. But at the same time, I feel like in terms of usability wise, I actually do prefer Nemone over her, because I used to use Scat a lot when it comes to like how do I say, like super like long fights, and then if I kind of have to like solo that shit most of the time. So it's like the sustain you get from Scat is actually really, really good. I know a lot of people probably hate the way I call her name, but I'm too lazy to pronounce her entire name, so there you go. But yeah, she has crazy amount of sustain because also the fact that whenever she gets to raid HP, she instantly just heals your entire party to full. Which is great, but it's only like a one-time thing, right? Which is great, don't get me wrong. Like her nukes as well is pretty fucking strong too. She can hit like 5-6 plus million like very, very easily. But I feel like her character skill set will only really shine if you're in a raid that has like, you know, say Tiamat Malice for example, right? Tiamat Malice has like always constant AoE, just non-stop hits your entire party like shit. It works really well for a character like her, because she not only can heal you like crazy, and she can also do like massive nuke damage and dispel. So it really, really, really is helpful. I remember I was using her for what's the Wind Dragon's name? That fucker's name? Yeah, I've been using her for Wind Dragon originally, because most of the time at that time, not really a lot of people were like really interested in getting the Wind Dragon's weapon, because of the lack of characters to actually use that with. Because now, you know, we have Valentine Grimnir or other Grimnir with what's her name? Mumu or Katura. Now that we have that, I think a lot of people are actually at least somewhat putting in some effort to do that. So that's why I feel like I don't think you really need to solo that for the most part. So But then again, these days I kind of swapped her with Nemone because Nemone I feel like for the most part is a lot better overall. So yeah, I mean it's up to you really. I think she's still a pretty damn sick healer nonetheless. And if I recall correctly, her weapon is Garrison, right? Yeah. Her weapon is Garrison, but I don't... It's such a... Yeah, I don't think you want to do that. Like, just get the character for the sake of weapon. You need to consider getting the character to use as well, not just the weapon. Like, you know, make full use out of it, rather. Okay. Summer Hillside, I can probably ignore too. Yeah. Trumpet emoji, yes. We all know how crazy trumpet emoji is. I feel like these days, if you want to do any sort of bursting with fire, you cannot do it without her. She's probably like your best character to go with when it comes to bursting down anything. Like even OTK, you can kind of use her as well. Use her for that as well. But I feel like for the most part, you just use trumpet emoji just for... or Milmail, whatever you want to call her. I just like calling her trumpet emoji. But yeah, you just use her for like the whole Alanan combo shit. That's like, there's no way around that. It's like if you want to use make use of Alanan, right? Outside of Assault Time, she is your best character for that. Because you can immediately with your standard crew buffs, ship buffs or whatever, with her, you can immediately just get 100 meter. It's that fucking easy. And then you just go Alanan shit and just go out of control. Plus she does so much fucking hits too, because you know, like her passive, she provides a lot of extra hits as well. You know, it's crazy. So if you're lacking a character like that, I don't see why you would not want a character like her, because she's probably one of the I would say a very popular pick in this Anythix as well. There's probably gonna be a lot of very popular characters to be picked in this Anythix, but I would say she's definitely one of them for those people who hasn't gotten her yet. So, okay, so that's fire. All right, let's go on to water. Okay, water. Asmir. Just what I said. Tits ass. If you want that, by all means. Because, that new EX pose, am I right? Okay. Summer Sandalphon is in a very peculiar spot right now, but I would even say that he's still pretty damn good for the most part. But just because I feel like there's other other seasonal water characters that are way better to grab in comparison to the likes of Sandalphon, because his skill set is not as easy as those other characters I'm about to get to. Okay, so yeah, for the most part, I think you can just somewhat like ignore him. Is like, you can probably consider him if you already have like the other water characters and you just really want to go in like hard on water element and shit, right? So he's like he has a lot of good autos and all that shit. Just provides you a lot of basically all your auto. He's that auto guy. I wouldn't really consider him as like the OTK guy. He's more like the burst heavy or just mainly focus on autos kind of shit. That's Summer Sandalphon. Yeah. Alright, moving on, we have Summer Europa. So Summer Europa just got a change like I think 2-3 months ago or some shit. And she turned out to be pretty good. Like her buffs now are like really, really good now. She has like the amplify shit. What was the amplify shit? Where is it? I don't remember. Where is it? Oh no. Oh, it was damage cap. It used to be something else, I remember. It was like I forgotten what's the previous one, but like this thing now affects all allies, and it's like, I would say getting because previously, right, from what I remember about Summer Europa is that her ability to able to overcap is not as good as what we see today. Because now it's a lot easier to get the overcap because of the, what's that? The Starry Waters thing? Yeah. Because another thing is, this Starry Waters thing, her new, not really her new one, her passive before, right? The stacks that keeps going on based on how many triple attacks? Yeah, triple attacks or damage skills that you use, right? So you get extra attack and damage cap based on the number of stacks. So this thing, previously, she consumes some of them. Now it's like, as long as you get to 5, it's just there permanently. So it's like for you to be able to just ramp her up is very, very easy these days. Because like, you just need to get triple attack, and you also just need to spam damage skills, which is her first skill. And then you just get extra stacks out of that. And then once you get that up, you can also just buff all this shit. You just get a fuckload of stuff. You know? You just get a fuckload of stuff. You even get the extra, what's that? The number of extra nukes based on the number of stacks, right? So her damage is really, really good now. And plus, like I said, her ability to be able to overcap these days is so much easier now, because it's just flat out. It just literally flat out damage cap. She just provides you and your party damage cap. Like, it just literally your entire team across the board has a much higher damage cap ceiling. It's just as simple as that. Like, you don't have like the very annoying shit of before. I think before this was like just either amplify or echoes. I forgot. It's either one of that. So it's not so it's not as easy as you think to get like what she has right now. My screen went black. Come back, please. Okay, it's back now. And I think I even seen some people actually use the revive strat, like kill off someone, just kill off someone and have them revived or some shit, just so she can have a cooldown ended or something. So which is kind of interesting. I see some of them do that, which is you know, I don't think you should really bother doing that, but it's alright. But yeah, for the most part, Summer Europa now is a lot easier to use, less clunky to use, definitely usable for the most part, like generic setups and all that. But I don't think you really want to use her in like either OTK or burst setups, because she's kind of slow on that. You kind of need to ramp up a little bit, so she does take time. But like I said, it's a lot easier now, a lot faster compared to before. So yeah, it's great. She's overall a great character now. Yeah, if you need a character like that, by all means. Next is Rosetta. So Halloween Rosetta, right? I mean, Booba, dude. Okay. Like, what else do you get her for, right? It's fucking Booba, dude. But think of it this way. For the most part, Halloween's Rosetta is more like you want to use her for like, say for example, like Guild War 150, and you want to full auto that shit. Halloween Rosetta is gonna be really, really nice for that that kind of content. You know, like really, really slow, full auto kind of shit. You know, that kind of stuff. She's really, really nice because she provides so much sustain. Because she's very, very similar to the likes of Summer LX. You know, the way you use Summer LX for Earth for the most part. So yeah, she's really, really good in that regard. So if you need a character like crazy sustain character, okay, just go grab her. You know, like say for example, if you've already gotten any like all the other say crazy amount of deeps characters for water or whatever shit, and you just kind of want to have a character for like the upcoming Guild War, like crazy sustain. Yeah, I don't think Halloween Rosetta is a bad idea either. So you can consider that. Next one is Summer Grea. Okay, so Summer Grea is one of she was the #1 pick on, I think 2-3 years ago. I forgot which Anytix was that. I think it was the very first Anytix when they introduced Anytix in GBF, right? She was like the #1, the most popular pick. She's literally #1 at that time. Why? Because she has really, really good skill set when it comes to OTK stuff or /burst setup at that time. But you have to remember, at that time, she's very focused on Ogi stuff. She's not really like the burst setup like you know, like Summer Lucio and all that shit. She's not like the auto base type of burst. She's very focused on just Ogi or charge attack. So she's kind of like, I feel like the priority to pick Greya these days is a lot lower compared to the other characters, like maybe I just mentioned before, or I'm about to mention, because you probably see it on screen already. I'm about to get to it. So, but Greya is still okay though. Greya's is still somewhat okay to get, because you know, I still somewhat use her for like the whole charge attack thing with like the newly upgraded full limit break doggo and such. That's still nice. You can probably still do that, but I don't think you really need to go for that these days. But like I say, if you still want to go for that, yeah, by all means, I guess. I don't think you should do though. But if you still want to, not gonna stop you. It's your choice, right? Okay. So, this one. Summer Kolulu. Okay, so Summer Kolulu is probably another yet gonna be a very popular pick, I think, in this Anythix, because she's a really strong character for water. Like, she probably has a lot of things that water can probably ask for, like crazy amount of buffs. This buffs is insane. She also literally ends the cooldown, so you can just keep buffing like crazy. This lasts for 5 turns too, so you can just use maybe at the end of like close, once this thing is almost expired and shit. And you have to also remember one thing, that water is very reliant on crest as well these days, because when you use those stuff with the crest, it's really insanely strong, simply because of one other character I'm about to get to, because she's called Summer Cagliostro. Yes, because Summer Cagliostro requires crest in order for you to get crazy amount of damage, like a crazy amount of damage. And especially another thing is that water is also very concentrated on having crit in their grids. Primal is all heavily invested in crit as well. Even Magna these days is very heavily invested in crit. So in order for you to like really do damage these days, it's just go either crit or just go like Ogi shit. I feel like for the most part you just do that, or if you want to like go to like a harder raid or whatnot, then you just go Enmity, Meteora, Garrison shit. Yeah, you probably just do that. But for the most part, like, she's really nice just because she provides you crest. You can reset that shit, gives you crazy amount of buffs. This one is really fucking strong. And then plus you get like, I don't know, fucking like nukes all the time. And then you get extra uplift, and then you get extra jam, all that shit, damage, you get the unchallenge, all that shit, you know, you get like, you see, like, she has very similar skill set as the OG Kolulu as well for Dark, you know, like if she's red HP, she'll consistently be able to, provide extra DPS, you know, that kind of scenario. But it's just that, yeah, we'll get to the other characters in a while, because I feel like she's one of those characters, like, how do I say, she's like a staple character for water these days. Like, for the most part, you probably may actually see Kolulu, but for some other specific reasons, you might actually not see her in the character setup. Like, for example, I think the ones that you probably would not really see her is the Kirin. Probably the Kirin, the burst setup for water, because these days for the whole Kirin burst water setup, you definitely just use Uno, Lucio, Summer Lucio, and the new Water Zeta. These 3 characters, you just do the you know what I mean, right? Like, yeah, I don't think you need me to explain on that one, because I'm probably gonna get into that very shortly. Because yeah, we'll get to Lucio soon. So yeah. So that's how Kolulu is, right? She provides you with all this very nice utility-based buff. She gives you the crest. She also does a lot of damage at the same time, and not to mention, you probably will or may actually have like some sort of enmity shit anyway. So that's why Kolulu is actually very strong in that regard as well, and she can keep herself alive relatively well too, because of her skill tree, and also her the crest is going to be very, very helpful for you as well. Because, you know, like I said, you have, what's that? Water is very focused on crest setups, right? So you may actually just use like maybe a Lily, or, you know, you could also just use any other character that actually provides the crazy amount of sustain, like say for example like what Lily is actually providing. If you do not have Lily, you can also just use others, but the others are mostly have to do with not being a limited character, so I'm not really gonna go too deep into that right now. So yeah, that's what Kolulu is. Kolulu is really, really strong. So next we have Mirin. So Mirin is a very, very special character, I would say. She's a very, very special character because she's one of the few characters that doesn't show a lot of skin in her Christmas outfit. Because apparently that's what the developers intended to make when they designed her, right? That's what they did. But no, that's not what I meant, okay? She's special because she's actually really nice in OTK. Like, there's no doubt, because you already know how like the standard Mirin is, right? She's not like how Jin turned out to be. That's the one thing I can probably say for what Mirin has to offer, right? Because it's not like the SR Jin has like the 200-meter thing, and then when she turns SSR, right, all of a sudden it turned into hot fucking garbage, right? Thankfully Mirin is not like that, right? She has the same potential that she had originally on the SR. She gets that 200-meter thing, and you know fucking Water's OTK thing, right? You know, with the whole fish shit. So the OTK with Mirin is gonna be really, really nice. So if you need a character like that, like just like excel in OTK, she's really, really good in that regard. But it's not just that though. It's not just that. In other things that she's really, really good at, hard raids, she's really good in hard raids, like in Fa or in like Babu. She's really, really good because she has all this thing. She has this skill of hers, essentially. She has dodge all, and she has substitute all ally thing, and then she has nice debuffs. She also has this thing, you know, whenever she counters. And she gets counter very, very easily, and she does a lot of damage. She gets a lot of meter. She provides a lot of utility to your teams when it comes to like those very, very hard raids. So that's why I would definitely think if you need a character, like you want to use a character for like with OT, if you need OTK improvement for your water team, and along the way you kind of want to have a character that also somewhat do relatively well in hard raids, probably Mirin is your pick right there. Because Christmas Mirin is actually really, really good for those two content I mentioned, like the OTK and hard raids. So yeah, I know some water guy decided to anything sir because you know, yeah. All right, moving on. Christmas Arulu. You can ignore her. she's okay, but I think you can just ignore her. So yeah, Summer Cagliostro. Remember what I was saying before? Yes, she's really, really strong when it comes to like the whole crest setup for water, just because of this skill of hers, which is it gets upgraded to what's it called? Ars Notoria. Yeah, this one. When she has 5 crests, she gains this too. You get a fuckload. She gains 50% echo. Okay? She gains 50% echo and 15% damage cap. And she also gets keen as well. This thing. Which is how much? 50%, 50,000. 50,000 supplemental. So you get so much damage when you get like the thing. I've been using her quite a bit as well. And yeah, like once you get that 5 crests going, damn, she hits fucking hard. I mean, not she, more like your party hits so goddamn hard, you know? Her second skill is kind of like, yeah, it's kind of like whatever. It's a decent thing. You just use it on someone that has really having like a massive problem in multi-attacks or whatnot, or you know, just hits like really relatively like low amount or whatever. That's kind of nice. Doesn't really matter too much. Her third skill is pretty damn cool as well. It really synergizes with Maria sitting in the back line as well. Because like, if you have a lot of crest provider, right, in water, if you're using any team that has a lot of crest provider, right, her third skill can be really strong if you have Maria sitting in the back line as well. Just because the fact that if you have Maria sitting in the back line, if you cast any skill that provides Dispel, which is this one, she has this, the Maria will automatically allow the character to do an extra nuke and an extra debuff, which is the attack and defend down stackable, which is really good. It just means you get just way more damage. And another thing is that, like you see here, when she gets 3 or more, you just consume the crest and it just ends the cooldown. So meaning you can spam this at least like 3 times. Minimum 3 times. Probably even more. Yeah. But it's like, it's good, man. It just does a lot of damage and you can... Well, if for example, if you need a lot of dispels, Keglister can do that as well. And the other reason why she's really strong too is because of this passive here. Bonus water damage effect to water allies critical hits on one foe attacks. That's one of the main reasons why water is very focused on critical, because they get so much overcap with crit these days, because also a character like her. But like, I could probably only foresee her really being used in like Nightmare 150 and like really long raids, because like for the most part I feel like when you want to get her crest up and running, it does take a while though. The ramping up is probably one of her biggest issues, I would say, you know? So it's not really ideal to like use her for like the actual burst setup. A lot of you have other characters for that, you know? She's more like you want to use her for like generic purposes. You want to use her for like you know, like say for example you want to set up for like a Shiva turn, like the actual Shiva turn, like turn 13 or some shit like that. Yeah, if you want to try to like aim for that and then you do one big fucking burst, she's really good for that, because she can provide you with crazy amount of overcap. So that's why. So yeah, if you need a character like that, by all means, she's a pretty good pick for that as well. Dianta. Okay, so Dianta used to be one of the characters that you use a lot, but I feel like these days, Dianta Summer is, I would say, long forgotten now, because the fact that water these days has so much more, or many other more options to go with when it comes to like bursting down and such. I even wouldn't say like Dianta is even good for like full auto, some shit like that, you know? Because, you know, she has like the heals, she gives you extra, you know, utility, you know, gives you triple attack and shit like that. Excuse me. And she even gives you like CA specs and all that shit, gives you hype. Yeah, it's like, it's nice, but like, it's not like the crazy how she originally was, you know? So that's why I feel like probably Summer Dianta you can kind of like forgo these days. Summer Naru is outfit booba stuff. Yeah, if that's what you want. Yep. Summer Lucio. Alright. This guy is probably probably gonna be another super popular pick, because I can assure you, next month's Guild War, if you do not have him, you're probably gonna cry. Because he allows water to burst super hard. Why? Because of this. And this. And it stacks. This thing is 90% echo. 90%. Okay? 90%. And if I recall correctly, this should be 20 or 30%. I forgot how much was it. You get so much damage out of this guy. It's like, if you want to do the Kirin burst, you cannot do it without this guy. And plus, you have Uno's new update. He gets extra damage cap and all that shit. It just means you putting this on Uno and such, it just allows them to like go fucking hard onto the fucking raid. That's one of the main reasons why water is able to burst down in the first place. It's just because of this guy right here. This guy. This fucking guy right here. He's nuts, man. Because like there's really not much else for me to really emphasize on what he can provide, because like the really main reason why everyone is using him is just because of this. And then you can, because it lasts for 2 turns, right? You can do the what's the summon, the whatever summon on turn 1, and then the following turn you can do Kirin again, and then you can put this on another character like Water Zeta, for example, and then you just fucking tag team and shit, and then fucking do all that shit again. The amount of damage this guy help provides is fucking insane when it comes to the whole Kirin burst setup that we have today. So if you're planning to, you know, have that kind of setup, like trying to go towards like the whole Kirin burst, so you can, I don't know, clear fucking Nightmare 95 next month in Guild War in like a minute or so, you can't do it without this guy, that's for sure. You have to have this guy. This guy is like the peak of being able to allow water to burst. If you do not this guy, you cannot burst properly. You know, the whole Kirin shit. You just can't. You just can't. Yeah. He's just so fucking crazy, man. That's why it's very likely I will do that. Like the guy. He is probably my anything's pick, but I'm probably gonna wait till the last day and shit. So now we have Earth. So number 1 will be Vera Summer. Last I recall, Vera Summer did get a change. Like, I'm not sure she got a. I don't remember if she got a change after I spoke about her last year though. I don't think so. Did she? No, I don't think so. No, I don't think she did. But she's still relatively decent, but like I feel like the priority of her is very, very low. So I would prefer to ignore her. So, but if you want her outfit and shit, yeah, by all means, I guess she has a really nice EX pose, right? Because Booba. I don't remember if it was last year or not. Summer Rosetta is Booba. That's it. Just Booba. If you want Booba, yeah, by all means. Valentine Medusa is probably another character you can just ignore for the time being. She's like, on paper she sounds great, right? You know, like her second skill, you can cast, activates 3 times when at level 7, right? You just deal so much damage with her second skill. But I feel like in order for you to get that, you need to cast that 7 times first, because you need to, you know, you need to cast this 7 times, including Ogi. Ogi allows her to cast this automatically. So like, yeah, to get there though, I feel like it's gonna take way too long. Like her ramp up is just very, very slow. So I feel like even though she sounds decent, I wouldn't really would suggest her at all. Alright, next one is Zeta Vasiraga. Zeta Vasiraga is probably still like the same shit. I'll probably just say like what I did last year. But either way though, Zeta Vasiraga today is still probably being used anyway. Not probably, still being used in certain scenarios, because they are, you know, like if you want to burst setup with like Kame and such, it's still really, really good. But I don't think you really go for you would really go for Zeta Vasiraga. She's more like, if you really have the others, you can consider going for them. Because like for the most part, if you're planning to like go to, you know, like the whole Gorilla, Mammoth, the whole Kirin setup or whatever shit, the burst Luca setup with Earth, these days it's just Christmas Naru, Sandalphon, and Makira. Because number 1, you need Sandalphon, just because the fact that he allows you to switch into water, which means you can use your Seraphic weapon for it, which makes it even stupider than it already is. That's why. And then Naru, you have your Crazy Assassin, and then Makira gives you way more damage consistency. She also gives you all that extra delicious echo, so yeah. So it's like, if you already have all that, you can actually consider Zeta Vasiraga. So because it's a still pretty nice character to date, because of like the amount of damage they can provide when it comes to like bursting down, because their skills shuffling is very, very nice. And not to mention, they have a relatively decent update on her, or their support EMP, which is pretty good because it allows them to have a chance of reducing their cooldown or some shit. I've forgotten. I think it's from autos or some shit, right? So it's just, which is nice, right? So it gives you extra choice to if you want to switch to another one real quick and shit, which is cool. So if you want a character like that, by all means. Excuse me. Oh god, I'm actually tired. Alright. Christmas Magisa on the other hand. Yeah, booba. I mean, like, Jesus Christ, man. Wait, alright, just for this, alright? Yeah, you see that? You see that? Like shit! Look at that fucking massive weapons of destruction right there. Fuck! But okay, jokes aside though, until today, I still do enjoy having her, her skill set. I really like her skill set a lot for the most part because she does allow you to have more sustain. She provides sustain, utility, and very, very nice constant flow of DPS. It's kind of crazy how when you first saw Magisa, right, she has a potential to be a lot stronger, like providing way more DPS than what Octo originally provides. And this was when she was released, which is like 2 years ago. She was back in 2019, if I recall correctly. So that's why it's fucking crazy if you think of it that way, because both her and Christmas Naru changed it, like changed a lot of how we approach with Earth these days. Because like her skill set, I would say, is very, very nice, just because like she provides crest as well, and she helped me a lot in the full auto setup that I used for Guild War, because like she not only provides crest, which allows you to get extra CA specs based on the number of wasteland crests. She provides you mirror, she provides you armor, she provides refresh as well, which is a respective amount of heal you can get, an amount of sustain you can get, because armor and shit, full auto, very, very helpful. You get mirror as well. Lots of good sustain options just by pressing one simple button. And then her other insane one, which is a second skill, which allows her to provide crest to herself, and she dispels as well. And when she Ogis, she automatically casts this as well. That's why it's really, really nice. Like her herself, right, being able to generate the crest by herself is actually more than enough, because of the amount of Ogi you take in order for you to get to her third skill. Because in order for you to really essentially make use of her third skill, you need to wait until 10 turn onwards, as it says here. See, when used from 10th turn onward, you consume all of her crests. All of her crests, his increase and effect enhanced based on the number of wasteland crests consumed. When you have 5, right, the amount of buff she gets is fucking massive. And not to mention, this skill alone, right, even though its cooldown is 9 turns, it may look a lot, but I feel it's actually really, really perfect timing, because you use this at turn 1, you will have someone in time to use this at turn 10, because it already is refreshed. So it's like you can get through I think probably maybe 2 or 3 crests at the beginning. You have a little bit of buff because you don't consume. You have to remember, when you press this, you will only consume it when you are 10 turn onwards. So before that, prior to that, when you use this, you do not consume it. So that way she can still get her buffs, but she still has a crest up. So meaning she still have like her extra bonus CA specs and whatnot. And plus, like I was about to say, that this skill of hers, it hits really hard, because I think you can hit like I don't know, 8 plus million. I think I hit like almost 9 million at some point. It's really, really fucking powerful. And yeah, so like her passive is just basically she gets all kinds of buff based on the number of crests and the number of what's that? The thing that she gets, right? The crest thingy. Because based on the amount of crest that she has, you press a third skill, she gains this land erosion buff or whatever shit. Then you get like the attack, defense, multi-attacks. You get the extra free nuke. This is what it means with fight alongside with Morax. You get the free extra nuke, which does probably 1 to 2 million or some shit. It was really high. And then you get like extra bonus earth damage effect, and then you get free CA boost, CA specs. She hits really hard whenever she has this shit activated. So I'm still using her until today when it comes to like soloing Water Dragon, because like Water Dragon is probably like the one of the few raids that you can really ideally have Magisa at her probably a peak at her peak, just because the fact that she has so much dispel, because you know she Ogis and she activates this, right? So she basically on Ogi she has a dispel, and you can press that as a dispel as well. So the amount of dispels you can get just literally counters the likes of Fa, Babu, what's a Water Dragon, because Water Dragon requires you to have like a dispel to like negate one of his omens and shit. So it's really nice. Wait, not Babu, sorry. The just Fa, because for the most part Fa just really requires you to dispel like crazy. So yeah, that's why until today I really like that skill set that she provides for me. It really helps out a lot, especially in the long run, and you know when you need to solo or whatnot. Full auto, all that shit, she can hit so well, hit so hard, provide all that utility, the sustain that you need. Is really good. But all this is probably gonna be fairly ignored on the next few characters I'm gonna get into. But yeah, so that's how Magisa is. So if you actually need those type of character, you need a character like that. Yeah, I wouldn't really fault you for picking her, because you're probably gonna pick her for Booba anyway. Halloween Eustace, ignore. He did get rebalanced at one point, but I think you should just ignore him because he's not really that great. So Summer Silva was released last year if I recall correctly. She's in a very interesting spot as well, but I feel like a character like her isn't really needed, you know. But I feel like for the most part people will use her when it comes to OTK consistency, because she has this, right? She allows you to have extra nuke when you do a 4-chain. If I recall correctly, this should be 4-chain, right? Yeah. So you get extra nuke, but if you're planning to use her normally, right, you want to make use of her third skill, which is really strong too for the most part, because she's buffing the character coming from the back. So if you're planning to use that as well, I think it's still okay. So it's like let's say you're in a raid that is relatively a lot longer than usual, because characters like these only excels when the raid doesn't last for more than 3 turns. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times these days raids just really last only like 3 turns or less or some shit like that, because you know you burst OTK or you get the fuck out, right? Or you just solo. So that's why, like, if you're in that situation, I guess she's pretty nice, because you know if you're planning to bring out another character that allows you to like hard carry your ass throughout the raid or some shit, this is actually not bad, you know. Like, allow her to swap positions with the first position, I think first position in the back. So she'll bring out the character, she'll buff that character, and just have like crazy amount of extra stuff, which is the ones written here. I think the only problem you get out of this is the lower defense, but I think for the most part, if you have like extra utility from other characters, I don't think that really matters too much. So that's just really based on what you have at that current time, and you want a character like her and your problems with OTK a little bit, then yeah, I guess that helps quite a bit as well. All right, next we have Jessica. Oh, Jessica, I think is also another character very similar to like how you want to use Magisa, I would say, but it's slightly more different, because Jessica is more like you want to use her in full auto, but at the same time you won't only use her because you need the crazy amount of sustain that she actually provides, because the sustains that she provides is Really, really amazing because she also allows you to, she allows to clear. She provides you with a clear as well, because not a lot of times where you get a free clear in full auto. Jessica allows you to do that, and then you get like what's that, this thing which allows you to heal. So she provides you a lot of heals, and then you get very nice boosts to your party. You get extra attack, defense, you get multi-attack. So it's like, yeah, it's all cool and all that, right? So end of the day, Jessica is more towards like the whole really utilizing on the full auto spectrum for Earth. If you actually really need a crazy full auto character, like really, really high sustained full auto character, then yeah, I guess Jessica is probably okay to have. Alright, another one, she used to be a very, very popular pick last year, I think. Summer Alex. Summer Alex, till today, is still probably really, really good when it comes to like a much harder raid. When you need at least some sort of sustain, you know? Like when it comes to taking damage for your party members. Like in comparison to an OG version, this summer version easily beats the OG version. Like when it comes to like just pure sustain, Summer Alex excels in that, because like the amount of defense she, like flat defense that she can provide to your party by just nuking that shit, because this is the one that she provides, permanent defend up to 25%, I think, if I recall correctly. Yeah. And then she gets the, like whenever she Ogies, she'll trigger this at the end of turn, whenever you have that buff or whatever shit. So like you get free defend up, you get free nukes, and then you get free crazy sustain from her S1. Very similar to the one that you saw earlier when it comes to sustain. You guys remember Halloween Rosetta? This is very, very similar skill as that one, but it works a little bit different, okay? It's very, very similar, but yet different at the same time. So that's Summer Alex in a nutshell. You need like crazy amount of sustain and at least help with some defense. I mean, some damage as well, because she does provide quite a bit of damage too, thanks to this. She can consistently just keep casting this if you just keep OGing and such. And then she has quite a bit of extra sustain based on in her passive. So you get quite a bit. Like she's basically like your go-to character to use when it comes to like having massive sustain. So like be it in Fa, Babu, Full Auto, Guild War and all that shit, yeah, she's probably like your go-to character to have. She's still probably gonna be used for the longest time, unless for some reason we get a much stronger or much different sustain character we get compared to her. Yeah, so if you need her, by all means. Okay, so moving on, we have Clarice, legs, thighs, belly, small booba. Yeah, that's probably it. Okay. Yes, the best one for the last. Alright. Christmas Naru. Oh boy. This is another one. Another character when it comes to very similar case to like, you know, Water Lucio. Summer Lucio. Christmas Naru is like that. She provides you with crazy amount of bursts, crazy amount of damage all around. She just allows you to also, she can also technically tank as well because of this. Because she's basically only taking 1% of the damage. Like whatever damage she's receiving, she's only taking 1% of that. She has 99% damage reduction. And she also gets Assassin. Anytime Assassin. She doesn't need anything else, by the way. You can just cast this and she has Assassin already. If you compare with her OG version, right? Her OG version needs her... She needs to cast a second skill first, like to debuff. She gets the special debuff thing, then that allows her to do anytime Assassin. But this one though, she doesn't need that. She just needs to press this and she's good already. And she gets free Assassin. One button. It's fucking nuts, right? And then not to mention, like, once, if you're planning to use her for like long fights or like full auto and such, you can even consider her as well. She's like fucking insane because she's like the meta right now. Like, you can't, like, how do I say, you can't ignore, not ignore, like, everywhere you see, when it comes to like endgame shit, she's there. You know what I mean? Like, any given setup, like, you want a full auto, you want to fucking burst, you want to do generic shit, she's there. The only time she's not there is OTK. But she can still somewhat be used for OTK as well, if you think about it, because she can dodge tank counter for 2 hits kind of thing. So she can kind of provide a little bit extra damage, you know, if the boss decides to do like crazy amount of hits and such. But yeah, she's literally Earth meta right now. You cannot go anywhere without her for the most part, because she provides so much damage. She provides so much burst as well. For long for long fights, she still provides way more damage than like any other character you see right now. You know, it's fucking nuts, dude. And then don't forget another very, very important thing that she has. She will, what's that? When 8 ways, which is a special stack, is at 8, activate her second skill upon being targeted by a foe. So if she somehow gets targeted, she'll literally auto nuke every time, and that nuke does a lot of damage. So that's why if you're in a raid that takes is like a lot longer than usual, like more than 10 turns or some shit, she does a lot of damage too, because you know, probably by then you're already at 8 stacks, because it's not really that hard to get that amount of stacks. Yeah. Yep, so that's Christmas Naru for you. Alright, next. Christmas cereal. Veilbot. Full stop. That's all you need to know. John. So, Summer John got buffed. She's a lot more usable now. But I feel like for the most part, you can kind of make do without her. I don't think it really matters too much. So, that kind of sucks for the most part. I'll still never forget my my mistakes. But yeah. Blue bottle, right? Goddamn. Ah, yes. Yet another, probably, very likely, popular pick of this Anythix. This motherfucker right here. This piece of shit character. It's like, same goes for like Waterloo Show, same goes for Christmas Naru. He is that type of character for the most part. I feel like for a win, right, majority of the times you probably want to use this guy. Because the amount of damage this guy can provide is insane. And don't forget, this guy has this. Where is it? You see? Deals triple attacks, guaranteed triple attacks, mind you. When he gets debuffed, doesn't matter. He guarantees triple attacks. One foe attacks deal 3 hit damage. He has a 9 hit by himself. 9 hits by himself. So you guys remember all the other crappy raids, you know, in V2 and shit? You know, like Galleon that requires you to hit a lot of times. Here, that's your answer. Because there's so many raids these days that really requires you to have XX amount of hits, all that stupid bullshit. Yep, Valentine Grimmer. That's, yeah. that's because like there's really not much else for me to say, because this guy provides so much DPS just because like, or watch like all this shit that he has, right? This, I mean, I think for the most part you can probably ignore his field effect or whatever. But like, even without this, right, the amount of shit he can do, the damage. Look at, just read the text, okay? Just read the text real quick. 6 hits, 20 hits. You see that shit that he does? You just press one button and bam, the stupid omen is gone already. It's like, like what? Yeah. So yeah, I don't think you really need me to explain, right? Like, it's such a brain dead character. Crazy amount of hits, so much damage. the nuke hits so fucking hard, and like guaranteed triples. Like you can use him in any given situation you're in. Like, excuse me. Like when you just started like the early game or whatever shit, you know, you have problems doing like multi attacks or whatnot. Yeah, like look at this guy. Just look at his skill set, man. Just briefly go through. You can just go through all the characters like what I'm doing right now in game, or just go look at his numbers in wiki, right? Just look at his numbers. Alright, let's just go look at his numbers. You want to see how stupid he is, right? 20 hits, 150 win damage, 80k base cap, 80k per hit. 20 times. 55k, 6 hits. All win allies get 100% chance to get 30% more crit rate up. Gets keen. Raise his stupid cyclone shit. What he gets this one. And then he gets this one. And then you just, yeah. Look at all this shit, man. This is some crazy ass debuff too, if you think about it. It's like you basically just mash his skill 1 until he has max stacks, and then you just say fuck it. Until he gets like 7 stacks, you press this thing. Fuck it. Mash skill 1 again. Reach 7 stacks. Press this button. Redo that shit all over again. End of story. That's all he needs to do. Sama Anira. Booba. Alright, next. Alright, so Christmas Meteon. Christmas Meteon is also another character that allows you to do a lot of damage. He provides a lot of damage. He can debuff a little bit here and there. But yeah, I think most of it, he's just more like a damage dealer. But I feel like when it comes to damage dealer, you'd probably want Grimnir first. If you already have Grimnir and you want another one, yeah, I guess you can kind of consider him. He's alright, you know? He's okay. I think for OTK, you can kind of use him as well, because he can do an extra nuke or some shit. Yeah, because this one, he literally automatically gets extra nuke or some shit. Like, I know he singles attack first until you get his combat thing, but yeah, he's okay. He's not that great. Wait, no. I mean, he's actually okay. Like, pretty great for the most part, but I feel like these days, I guess you can kind of just make do without him, because, you know, you have a character like Mumu, Grimnir, and yada yada yada, you know? I feel like you can pretty much ignore him, like, once you go to, like, near endgame or some shit, you know? Because I feel like at that point, you probably want to use, like, Grimnir and all the other shit instead, you know? He's still pretty fucking strong, though, either way. But yeah, can get him, though. Summer Cold. You wanna know what I think? Because she just got updated recently. Yeah, just go watch that video. I'm not gonna talk about it. Siegfried, ignore him. UL, boob, back, ass, legs, tail. Yeah, booba. Yeah. Albert Gachi. Cause, yeah. Remember what I was talking about Grimnir a moment ago? Remember what I said when it comes to like massive amount of hits? He's probably your other guy. You're probably the other guy when it comes to just massive amount of hits. He's that guy. So if you put him and Grimnir together, you see a lot of zush, all the stupid zush numbers, echo shit. Yeah. And this guy can quad attack as well. I'm not sure he's the only other guy besides Geisenborger that can quad attack. I don't remember. I think so. Maybe. I don't know. Whatever. So now we have Light. Moving back to Light. We have Halloween. Valentine Potato. Or Hair Potato. Whichever you want to call her. Or Melissa Bell. She's great in OTK. And heart rates, I guess, for the most part, because she has if I recall correctly, she has an all allies sub. Yes, she has an all allies sub. She gets quite a bit of damage reduction. She has a lot of skill damage, lots of nukes, lots and lots of nukes. Because, you know, get over Hair. She's very similar to the likes of like, you know, any of the other characters. Whenever they Ogi, they auto cast that thing. So that's what. You see, like, if you just look at the skill set of what she has, the Ogi, it casts this. It's very similar to the likes of Magisa, right? But it's very different because she's more towards sustain compared to the likes of Magisa. Because Magisa is like a mix of a little bit of sustain, some sustain, DPS, and utility. So, but for Hair Potato Valentine, she's more towards sustain and a little bit of utility. But she's just mostly on sustain though. So like, if you need like a character that actually provides some sort of sustain and at least help in OTK as well, you can also consider her. For light, that is, if you actually have problems with OTK light or whatnot, because she's pretty good. So yeah, it's pretty good. Okay, next is Rosamia. Rosamia is a little bit of an oddball because you need to spam her first skill. Yeah, you need to. She's a Crest character, yes. She's a Crest character. She needs to spam Ogi a lot just so she can spam her first skill a lot, because it allows her to deploy all this weird ass talisman thing where you gain all this, like whatever given scenarios that you're in, she'll automatically cast this. So imagine if you're able to get this up and running. Probably I would say she's a character that's best used in like generic fights or whatever. Like as long as it lasts more than 10 turns type of fights, she probably will be okay to have as well. But I think in terms of like priority wise, you might actually consider someone else. But if you want a character like her, no harm done there. So like she has some utility. She has quite a bit of like sustain / utility because of this alone. But I feel like her main issue is that she needs to at least get this up fast, because you need to cast this 5 times in order for you to get at least all of this up at the same time, from what I remember. Because like it deploys one random Fire Blossom talisman, right? Then her Ogi ends the cooldown of this skill. So you cast the first time, right? It'll be randomized between 1 out of 5. And then you cast it again, it'll be 2 out of 5. So 2 buffs out of these 5. So then 3, 4, and then 5. So eventually you get all of them, which is pretty nice, right? Because you can get all these scenarios, like in 3 turns you get blah blah blah. And then you get a special attack, you get something. Chain burst, you get something. Charge attack, you get something. You know? You have like all that shit. Then you get charge bars, you get extra CA specs as well. Because you get, what's that? You have, if you have 5 crests, you boost to all ally CA specs. So in a way, it also allows your team to actually just go ham, right? And then if you really want to get extra damage as well, so it just gives you CA reactivation. But the problem is that you need to give 1 charge diamond to the boss or whatever, so he gets that. But like, all in all, she's actually okay. It's just that I feel like she's a character that really requires a lot of meter generation in order for her to really be fully utilized, rather. So yeah, and she looks cute, right? I mean, pretty cute. Telafil. Ignore Booba. Potato. Green pot. No, blue pot. Blue pot bot. Hellmail. Double the tits. Double the booba, Okay, so Summer Hellmail at the moment is still probably, I would say, one of the most highly picked characters to have for light. When it comes to both bursting or like generic stuff. Like when it comes to generic stuff, I always tend to mean like anything basically at the rate as long as it lasts more than 10 turns kind of shit. Okay? Hellmail is really, really good in that regard because they provide a lot of damage. They provide utility as well. Because, you know, they provide heals. So there's a little bit of sustain there. You get some extra shield as well whenever you have this up. The only problem with her, she's really, really bad for full auto. Why? Because for some reason, the way they are placed, right? Because you want to cast this after you cast this. Because what it'll provide is that you get your entire party to have echo. Because if you don't do that, you don't get echo at all. Because if you full auto, because these are both yellows, right? This is gonna be pressed first, not this. So that's why she's more to a manual-ish character. So that's why. But this thing just makes them really, really strong. They provide a lot of things for your party, and it just gives a lot of character. And yeah, Crest. If you're using Crest with Aniki, if you don't know who Aniki is, you should probably go look at a new character that has always been sitting down on the chair a while ago. Yep. Summer Zeta, ass. All right, next. Heles, Booba. All right, next. Noise, Gachi. All right. I don't think it's actually good to pick Summer Noise these days. He's actually pretty nice. Like, I would consider him pretty nice last year. He was still pretty okay last year and the year before. But I wouldn't say he's that great now. Because before this, he used to be great because he's like a really nice mix of sustain slash utility character, because he provides like pretty not this one. This one, he gives a pretty good amount of damage, because last I recall this was stackable with Baha, and is as strong as the 5-star Baha, you know? So that's why it's pretty damn nice. I think I remember, if I remember correctly, a lot of people were using this just to get the damage, the 10 million shit done a lot easier in FA or some shit back then. But like, who the fuck needs that right now? You have so much options right now. Fuck that, right? So that's why for the most part he's still okay and shit. Like, you know, if you have problem with OTK or whatever, if you want to press a button, yeah, you can kind of do that. But like, I don't think you really want to consider him in 2021 these days. He's still okay to have, but I wouldn't really burn my Anytics for a character like that, you know? Metera, slut. Alright, moving on. Alright, Christmas Metera though. Christmas Metera is kind of like somewhat the same as a fire version, but the thing is, you can't really fully utilize a character like her, like how fire does with theirs, you know? It's very, very different. Because like, if you want to do like the whole burst setup in light, is a lot different from like the other elements. And you also have to remember, like, burst setups like Kirin and shit for light, right? It's very, very different. Like, not only is not as strong as the other ones like water, earth, dark, you know, fire, you know, I would even say light burst setups are probably almost, or if not only slightly stronger than wind, because wind is probably like the bottom tier right now when it comes to bursting down. So yeah, even though Christmas Metera still has like that kind of skill set to like provide a lot of echoes and all that shit, but I wouldn't say she's that great to have when it comes to like bursting down and all that shit. So I feel like for the most part, Christmas Metera you can kind of ignore for now. Maybe they'll rebalance her to get better later on, but I think you can just only bother with that later on. You can just ignore for now. Okay, Halloween Hallie is probably one of the characters that a lot of people use when it comes to bursting, just because of her third skill. Because the third skill allows your entire party to have 100 guaranteed triple attack, right? Because it says deal triple attacks here. And then she has supplemental damage, meaning your entire party will have free extra 100k each hit. So imagine if you have extra echoes or whatnot, each of them has extra 100k. Pretty crazy, right? But at the same time, you're also making the boss stronger or whatever shit stronger, so yeah, just keep that in mind. But yeah, the only other thing that she requires is that she does need her stacks. In other words, she must not get hit. Because if she gets hit, she'll deduct her thing, and then she gets like a low hostility or some shit. Yeah, this one. So you're lower by 2, and then yeah, lower hostility next turn and shit like that. So a character like her is not so good when it comes to what's that? bursting down. Oh, no, not bursting down. When it comes to like when the boss is like just AoE, constant AoE and all that shit, she's pretty bad. You know, like say for example, like the second half of Avatar fight, right? The second half of Avatar fight was just constant AoE, constant nukes on your party members and shit. At that time, I think just Halle is just, you know, but like she's still probably being used a lot today when it comes to all that sick ass burst setup or some shit. Because I think right now people are still using Granjan, Halle, and Halmel or some shit. That's kind of like the typical go-to like burst setup for light or some shit like that. And yeah, plus she also gets extra echo on her own and shit like that. She can debuff a little bit here and there. Yeah, sure. That's why she's still pretty damn good when it comes to like allowing light to burst a lot stronger. Because she allows to overcap for herself. She also allows your entire party to overcap thanks to this. You know? Yeah. Alright. Next we have Lily. Yes. So Lily is well, Guild Wars is over, you can ignore her. I mean, she's that type of character, right? She's like, she provides you with very good sustain, more sustain, even more sustain, crazy amount of sustain. So she has so much sustain when it comes to like full auto and shit. But the only thing is that you really want to try to get her to do like consistently is that because her passive allows her to cast her first skill, which allows her to cast light attack up, charge bar gain is boosted, and also heal to the entire party. And in order for her to do this, you need to get a 4-man chain burst. And from what I remember, in order for you to do that, you need Granjan, you need Noah. So yeah, just fill your party with limited characters, right? It's that easy, dude. And then it just allows you to consistently just burst this like crazy. I mean, for the rest of it, if you really want to like, just to see like what I think about the character, just go look at my previous video or some shit when I was talking about her like first impressions and shit. Mary is... She did get a change like 2 months ago, if I recall correctly. She's definitely really nice now. But I would kind of wish that she had a little bit more, you know? Because like right now, I still think that she's just better off with OTK, you know? Because she's probably the best character for OTK for one thing. Because she allows you to get this. She has a chance to give you a treasure, meaning you get a lot of extra random shit with her. It's a little bit slower because you know you have an extra window popping up and stuff, but I still appreciate having the extra loot popping up from here and there just for grinding, right? So like, she helps out a lot whenever she casts her first skill, which is allows to like have Bounty Hunter on it. So if any time when the target has Treasure Hunt or Bounty Hunter, whichever you want to call it, your members will have CA specs against foes with bounty effect. So they are a lot stronger, allowing them to get extra damage, extra cap whenever they have Treasure Hunt on it. It doesn't matter what level is it. It's just as long as Bounty Hunter effect on the target, then it's fine. You get extra damage. I'm still using her until today either way, yeah. So she's still pretty good. But I only feel like I will only use a character like this in OTK. I wouldn't really consider using her in like generic bursts or whatever. She has a potential for like burst setup because of this thing, but like I don't think it's that great. Because the echo is kind of like you know, and it only lasts for one turn, so it's like and you only cast one target at a time, so yeah. Alright, so that's it for light, right? Okay, yep. That's it for light. Now we have dark. Rosetta, Booba, Cagliostro, nope. Clarice. I think she's still pretty damn good until today though. And she has a really nice art. I think she's one of the few characters that I really appreciate the second portrait art. The second portrait art for her is really, really nice. It's so fucking adorable, right? But I really like what she can provide for the party. Like, she has so much utility and sustain for the team, because you get like Veil, you get Mirror, you get Shield Armor Effect, you get CA specs, you know, and then you also get damage cap as well, some shit like that. And then you can double plane damage, and also allows you to get what's that? It activates twice, so you can double dispel, and also it allows you to speed up a lot faster, because you know you get extra, what's that, progression on her. And yeah, she gains extra charge attack and skills effects when she gets 10 turns onwards, right? So it's pretty nice, you know. She's a pretty very nice character. Plus, not to mention, her Ogi also has delay. Pretty cool, right? And then her plane damage as well. You get extra plane damage. So her damage isn't really that great, but at the same time I would say is decent. So for a character that at least do a decent amount of damage, but the utility, sustain, all that stuff that she provides is really, really nice and handy. Like, you know, you can just use her for like fire and all that shit. Probably, you have to remember, she was like the only character, literally the only character for Dark at that time that can hard carry you so hard when Fire was just released. Can you imagine that? She single-handedly allowed Dark to carry themselves so hard just because of what she has. Mirror, armor, veil, CA specs, you know, extra damage cap, and then the plane damage, you get 2 million damage a lot easier. Dispel, all that shit. She can gravity as well. So good, right? And then she has a very sweet smile. Anturia, full auto. Yeah, I think full auto. But I think the other one that probably a lot of people would say is that if you pair her with what's her name, Jiki or Vikala, whichever, is probably really, really nice. You know, because of the amount of dodge, the amount of damage, you get all that shit, blah blah blah, lots of meter gain, blah blah blah, and all that stuff. It's really, really nice. So you get a lot of tanks, you know, when you pair her with Jiki. Damn Jiki. Why is Zoe here? Alright, she's fucking alright, I'm gonna ignore Zoe because she's a grand character now. Amira, OTK character. As simple as that. She's probably one of the best characters to have right now in Dark for OTK, because she hits so fucking hard. She hits so damn hard, man. Like, unworldly. You can just use it at the start. Done. Ogi once, done, deal. Get out. You know? Yeah, you could probably just use that for full auto for some things, you know, because she has all ally sub shit and all that stuff. But like, I feel like for the most part, I would definitely just consider just using her for OTK though. She's really, really good for OTK. Oh man, Lady Grey. Damn. Halloween Lady Grey is she's still okay, but I feel like she got power creeped so hard right now, you know? She used to be really, really good on release, you know? But then after like maybe 1 year later, she became like just something like you can just pretty much ignore for the most part. It's like you can definitely just live without her. Like you can just make do with having like your Nia, your, you know, get your 6 or some shit, and Predator or some shit, and still do relatively well. You don't even need a character like her anymore. That's why, you know? It's very, very unfortunate that the Lady Grey Halloween version turned out to be like this. Heck, I even feel like for the most part, right? I even think her OG version is a lot better now for the most part, but I think she's still somewhat usable. Alright, the last final character, Booba. Yeah, Booba. I'm not gonna talk about that, just Booba. Oh yeah, Rosetta is actually a lot more usable now, rather. Yeah, slightly more usable now, but yeah, that's pretty much about it. Just full auto, whatever shit. Okay, alright, so once again, I'm just gonna say that if you're planning to pick grand characters, go right ahead. It's your money, right? If you want to pick a grand character, I'm not gonna stop you, but if you want my suggestion, I really suggest you to just pick any of the limited characters, like any other element of the really good seasonal limited characters. If you're planning to buy this ticket, you know, you should just pick the ones. Like maybe if you're weaker on one of the elements, you can just pick all those good characters that can really bump up your power level like crazy, instead of getting a grand character. Because like I said many times before, grand characters are there forever and ever, every single month. You just need to wait for a month. Just save a spark, aim for that character, and just get it. Because based on all the amount of free shit that Cygames actually provides for us in the GBF, I'm very certain you can spark very easily. Seriously. But yeah, end of the day, if you want to pick any of these, I'm not gonna stop you. By all means, man, just go right ahead. But yeah, same goes for the summons. End of the day, it's your call, man. But I highly suggest you to not go for these right now, you know. But yeah, end of the day, another thing is that if you're planning to get any of the grand characters, right, or this the limited seasonal limited characters, if you're planning to do that, but you're planning to buy this as well, because there's 2 scams coming up. I mean, 2 scams in total. This is one. There's another one for Grand and Zodiac characters. If you're planning to throw more money, I suggest you to just do that first. You know? Especially when it comes to the Grand characters, right? If you want to really pick the Grand characters from your Anytics, I suggest you to just wait until the last day. Because we're gonna get like... you're gonna go through... Because it's only April 1st, right? The expiry date to get this thing. We're gonna go through Lake Fest. We're gonna go through Flash Fest. So I really suggest you just wait until then. Just go through, get your free rolls done, and see what you get from that, and then just go buy. Because, you know, I don't think you want to waste 3,000 yen getting a character that, you know, you're probably gonna get from your fucking free rolls or whatever shit, right? So imagine if you only need like a weapon that it just only requires 1 or some shit. That's kind of like a big major waste, isn't it? Right? So if you want to pick Shiva's bow, for example, right? Because it kind of helps for like OTK and shit. So imagine if you get Shiva already, right? Like you just went and buy Shiva. Where the hell is he? Like here. Like when you go get Shiva, because his weapon is actually okay when it comes to like OTK stuff, right? It's pretty cool, right? So imagine if you already get him, and then you decided to buy this very early, and then Flash later on, you get him again. The only thing you're probably gonna do is like you're technically spending 3,000 yen on a gold bar. Do you think that's worth? If that's worth it, then that's up to you, right? It's not really my way for me to judge you at that part. But for me, I think that's a really bad idea. Because end of the day, like I said, this is a gacha game, alright? It's a gacha game. The most you want to do is get stuff that you do not have yet. It's better that way. Because end of the day, if you want to limit break all these fucking weapons, just go farm bars, dude. It's that simple. It's farm bars. But yeah, I think that's all I can say for now for Anytics video. This is gonna be a long video. I'm probably gonna split that up somewhere, one way or another. But either way, I don't think I'm able to cover every single thing in this, because like I said, this is a long video. I didn't really want to drag in longer anymore, because this is probably like already 1.5 hours in or some shit. So like there's probably a lot of stuff I may have missed, but like I said, I'm just like trying to like skim through most of shit, and like you saw, right, there's so much shit to cover. So obviously I may not say everything. I may miss some shit here or two. So first and foremost, I do apologize for that. I'm not a perfect person here. I'm just doing what I can. So but at any given time, if you actually really need help, you can just come on the Discord, just discuss with like the very helpful dudes in there. From what I've seen, they are all helpful. If they're assholes, you just complain to me. I'll just kick their ass. Don't worry. But yeah, in other words, you could also just hop on the stream, just come in, hang out with chat, us here and there if you really need help or advice or whatever. The stream is always open up for you. Maybe not for the next few days, but any given time really. Just follow my channel, some shit, and get notified whenever I stream. You can also follow my Twitter for get updates and stuff whenever I'm going live and what shit like that. So yeah, that's all I can say for now. Hopefully you find this very helpful, because this is a very, very tiring video to make. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys find this helpful in any way, shape, or form. If you do think it helped you anyway, you find this any helpful, good, or whatever, if you enjoy yourself watching, giving me watch time and stuff, yeah, hit that like button, man. Smack that shit. Smack it so hard that you get a gatchy. You know? Just tap that so hard. Hit the subscribe button too. We really appreciate it. Thank you all for all the support, and I'll see you guys on the next one on stream.